last part of the last lecture, I was a little bit in a hurry, I think. So I want to repeat little part of that. And mostly some definitions and some notations I want to set up correctly, which I already did in the exercises a bit, but still I was not very happy with that also. So let us recall integer valued polynomials. So first, let us look at these binomial polynomials, BKT, that is T choose K. This is by definition T times T minus 1. You slide it down to K terms. So that is this product T times T minus 1 times T minus K plus 1 divided by K factorial. This is obviously polynomial with rational coefficients. These are called binomial polynomials. So for example, B0T is 1, B1T is T, and so on. B2T will be quadratic, monic quadratic, and so on. So first observation that you should prove that BKT as K varies in the natural number. This is a Q basis of Q polynomiality. This is very easy to prove. So this is also good practice for you to prove something independently. And this is a delta, there is an operator on the polynomial ring over Q. That is called a standard difference operator. This is defined by a delta of Ft is f of t plus 1 minus f of t. So this is like a differentiation, like I said. So in this, suppose you take delta of BKT, you get the earlier one, BK minus 1t. This is again easy to check. So I am not going to check many things because they are either very easy or maybe you know them already. Otherwise, it will be boring for to check all these things in a lecture. So when do you say a numerical function is a polynomial type of degree d? That is, if there exists a polynomial Pt with rational coefficients of degree d, such that for large values of n, the given function and this p agrees on every integer after large values, after some stage. So remember then, because q is infinite, then this polynomial p will be uniquely determined by f, and sometimes that is denoted by pf. Just to remember that this is coming from this function f. Also here, you should remember the convention, the zero polynomial has degree minus 1. Normally, the degree of the zero polynomial is not defined, or if at all it is defined, it is minus infinity. But so that the thing should go correctly in this setup, by convention, I didn't say by definition. So by convention, the zero polynomial has degree minus 1. All right, with this, now the next lemma will describe how to check somebody is a polynomial integer value. So suppose I have a polynomial f, then the following are equivalent. So you see the property, this second condition says that this polynomial maps integers to integers. It's not every rational polynomial maps integers to integers. So one is that it is a Z linear combination of these BKT. The second condition is, as I said, it maps integers to integers. Third one is, it's enough to check for large n, it maps integers to integers. And fourth one is, if I take the difference, delta f, that has property 1. In particular, f of n belongs to z for some n, because it has a property n. So anyway, so a polynomial f which satisfies these equivalent properties, it's called integer valued polynomial. Why did I do this? Because our Hilbert function is one example like this. It's an integer valued this one. So all right, so I will use this notation later, that if I have an integer valued polynomial, then it is this coefficient I am denoting by E case. There, this lemma says it's a linear combination of these binomial polynomials, so I am denoting them by E case. And also it's easy to check that the E case and E case of delta F, they are just sliding it down if K is positive. So anyway, further I have written something. So if a degree is smaller or equal to K, then this EKF is the constant polynomial delta KF. See, every time when you apply this operator delta, degree will reduce by 1. So if you apply K times, the degree will reduce by K times. So this becomes a constant. So therefore, also when you write this Ft as a polynomial, the top coefficient will be Ek, where the K is the degree, times K factorial times T power K plus some other polynomial of smaller degree. And if it is equal to K, you see this in the leading term, this will dominate. That means what? That means usually it is written this symbol, this more often you see in number theory. So this means that this divided by this, as n tends to infinity, the limit is 1. That is the meaning of this approximation. So it's very easy to check. You should check whatever I say without proof. I think it is better to check at least once. Many are easy and don't believe me, so maybe I make some mistakes sometimes. So now polynomial, when the top degree coefficient is positive, then these FNs are positive for large n. Polynomial type function now, if it's a numerical function and then the following are equivalent again. Delta F is the polynomial of polynomial type. Delta F is also polynomial type. And there exist R such that delta F R at n is 0 for large n. This is again very easy to check. So we are interested in mainly in polynomial type functions. Then this polynomial, as I said earlier, P is uniquely determined, and this F is called a polynomial type of degree D if this polynomial PF has degree K. And in that case, we will put EKF to be equal to EK of that polynomial. Remember, this doesn't make sense for functions. So, but this makes function. All right, now let me recall again a statement with the Hilbert said theorem and Hilbert functions that I rewrote this page because I wanted to change a little bit of notation. And reason also I will tell you why I wanted to change the notation a little bit. So as I said, for us graded rings are always n graded, but just I want to drop this in the notation. So we will assume ans are 0 for negative n's, and then I will drop this in the notation. M is a graded module, and we are going to assume that A naught is Artinian and A is finite type over A naught. And this module M is finite module over this ring A. With this assumption, we have seen in the last lecture that A is a Noetherian ring and M is a Noetherian module over A. And hence, also we have seen in the last lecture that each homogeneous component of M is finite module over this Artinian ring, and therefore it has a finite length. All this is we have done in that recall part, support, associated primes, and so on. Now we are considering a numerical function hm z to z. This is nothing here, it's something z to z, n going to the length of mn over a naught, and this a naught also I am going to drop in the notation. This is called a Hilbert function of m. Okay, now the generating function, which is a formal power series over integers, that is coefficient of t power n is value of this Hilbert function at n. That is this, which is the length. This is called a Hilbert Poincare series of n. Last time I only called a Hilbert series, but I looked into literature more carefully. And actually Poincare was also considered. Actually, Poincare might have considered before Hilbert also. You see, Poincare is a French mathematician, 1854 to 1912, and Hilbert, German, 1862 to 1943. So this Poincare used this series, this type of series in the algebraic topology and also number theory more. So when we go on more, if there is an opportunity, I will say what Poincare did it. So it's called Hilbert-Poincare series. Therefore, HPI short form, and that M I made it in the suffix because it's a power series depending on this M. All right, and what was Hilbert-Say theorem? Now a little bit more I wrote here that Hilbert proved this theorem in 1890, and he used what is called Hilbert-Cizizi theorem. What was Hilbert-Cizizi theorem? That every finite graded module M over the polynomial ring over a field has a finite free graded resolution of length less equal to R. These are the number of variables. That is, you have a free resolution of this type. All these Fi, F1, F0, Fn minus 1, Fn, they are all free modules, graded free modules over the polynomial ring. And this is, by now you have learned, I think last time I had forgotten that you are learning homological algebra also parallelly. So therefore it is better. So this was Hilbert's Cizizi theorem. So that Cizizi means relations. This is again a German word. The Cizizi means relation. So that this one is got by taking a homogeneous generating set here. Look at the kernel and so on. No, the way you write free resolution. No, so similar way. So and Sayre's name here comes because actually Sayre did it more generally. He proved such when such free resolution exists and so on. So that I will tell when I have the right opportunity again. And the proof here which I have written, it's more closer to Hilbert. It's bit by bit, because this big free resolution I have broken into small pieces, and that is how the proof was there last time, if you remember. So now again I wrote it more precisely here. Suppose A naught is Artinian, A naught is and A is as a naught algebra generated by finitely many elements, and those elements I can assume to be homogeneous. In general, the generating set may not have degrees 1, it may have different degrees. So just now Develina asked me, we don't assume in this theorem that Fi's have degree 1, the Fi's have degree di. So then we have proved that Hilbert-Poincare series of M has this particular form. This is a rational function. Numerator is also polynomial, denominator is also polynomial. The denominator depends on these Fi's, degrees of Fi's, and numerator is this, you see this N naught is the first time when it is non-zero, this homogeneous component. Below that, all homogeneous components are 0. So first of all, this gives an assumption also on M that M is non-zero in particular, because we are assuming this N naught is non-zero. So, and so this numerator is, if you look at it carefully, it is not a polynomial, because this N naught might be negative. But I have taken out that N naught out, and inside this, the common is this Ft, this has integer coefficients. And if f at 0 is non-zero, that means t is no more a factor here. So that is what it means. So strictly speaking, the numerator is actually the way I have written. If I don't write this N naught, then it is a Laurent polynomial with integer coefficients. But just to avoid that, it is better we have taken this N naught out. All right. In particular, if A is a standard now, A naught algebra, that means if I's are A1 or the degree 1, then the denominator gets simplified because these DI's are 1. then this is 1 minus t power r. This r is the number of algebra generators of A over A naught, and ft as it is. So this is what we proved. I am not going to repeat the proof, same proof, but there is no change in the proof. Okay, what is the third part I wrote? Third part I called it in last lecture. I don't know what I called it, and in the note in this assignment sheet I called it G also, but G doesn't fit correctly, so I just changed that G to Q. So this numerator is, now what am I going to do? See here, ft may have 1 minus t as a factor, so I am going to cancel it as much as I cancel, and then this ft will get by after cancelling it will become QMT, and now QMT doesn't have now 1 minus t as a factor. That means QM at 1 is non-zero. T equal to 1 is not a zero of this polynomial. That means. So that is this notation now. This is more convenient because unnecessary common factors and so on. And what we proved, that is what I stated in the corollary, that this polynomial QMT and the integer d, this integer d is in between 0 and r, because we might have it might have been a factor there, so this r might have dropped or may not be. So that is this polynomial QM and the integer d, they are uniquely determined. This is also we have proved. This is not very difficult. So this d is, if you notice, this d is the pole of this power series. This is a power series, no? So this is a pole of this power series. The order, the d is the order of this pole at t equal to 1. And that I am going to denote by dm, because it depends, this d depends on m. So I am going to write that as a dm. And in the next today, our efforts are concentrated to understand this dm, particularly its relation with the Krull dimension. And also, how does one compute it? You have seen in exercises computation, and I was browsing through some of your assignments, and I was a little bit shocked because many of you have not written the solutions. I don't know the reason, but I've been saying, please ask, please ask. But I think the response is very poor, so I'm not going to bother anymore. If you want to ask, ask. It is, I don't have to keep saying ask, and waste time. If you want to learn, you will learn anyway. Those who don't want to learn, they will not learn anyway. So it is your business now. All right. So my efforts are concentrated to understand this integer dm, understand this polynomial qm. How, when you change m, what happens to the polynomials? And therefore, I have, but before that, I have written one corollary. So this is a corollary. Now the notation is same, assumptions are same, but now I am assuming this A is a standard A naught algebra. That means these Fi's have degree 1. Then what am I saying? Then the Hilbert function, this is a polynomial type of degree d minus 1. This is a polynomial type of degree d minus 1. Now here I wrote some footnote. That is, I want you to remember what happens. This d may be 0. And then this will become minus 1. But what do we mean by that? So remember our convention, degree of 0 polynomial is minus 1. And the binomial coefficients n choose minus 1 is 0 for all n non-negative at n equal to 1 and n equal to minus 1 also. So this, when you get in a calculation, see the extreme cases, you have to be careful. That is where your induction will start or something. So you have to interpret them correctly. That is why this convention is very important. So this is a polynomial type of degree d minus 1. More precisely, how do you write that polynomial that I have written? More precisely, Hm at n is Pm at n for all n, which stage the degree of Qm, that was the numerator, but n naught is done. So this is actually degree of that numerator, degree of QMT plus n naught, where what is QMT? QMT is some polynomial with integer coefficient. So that is, I've written it like that: a nu, t nu, that nu is 0 to q. So q is the degree of q. Q is the degree of q, and we have assumptions from coming over from that theorem that at 0 it is not 0, at 1 it is not 0. This is precisely what we stated in 3 above. Okay, and PMT, you look at this polynomial. The next page will reveal where will this come from. That is what last time I was not very clear at the end. So this is PMT, this polynomial. The degree of the PMT is this Q, and this is the PMT. Not degree is Q. It is a sum of from nu to Q. But each, so the degree of PMT is obviously d minus 1, because this binomial, if you think it is a polynomial in T, it has a degree this d minus 1, because this is it slides down to d minus 1, and then you the new denominator there is d minus 1 factorial. Therefore, what will be the leading term of this PMT? That will be, you sum these a nus and take out t power d minus 1 out, and then factor this, and then it will look like this. This is obvious. So this Qm at 1 is non-zero. That is very important. So this is the leading coefficient. All right. And what is the proof? I have written the proof now. Proof is again very easy. So I want to compute this Hn. So I only have to prove this equality, and where P is this. Others are just I explained. So look at Hm at n. That is by definition coefficient of t power n in the Hilbert-Poincaré series. But Hilbert-Poincaré series is this. We have proved that in Hilbert's theorem. And we have written QMT as nu, a nu t, this should be t nu. Kriti, can you correct this? This is t nu. And Q is the degree, integer coefficients. Now look at this 1 over 1 minus t power d. This is a negative power of 1 minus t. So the last time also I said that Newton's theorem for negative powers you would have learned in the college days. This is the formula. How do you get this formula? I will just indicate orally. See, this is 1. Suppose d is 1, for example. If d is 1, what is 1 over 1 minus t? That is, and we are looking in a power series 3. So the inverse is 1 plus t square and so on. So d is 1, then all the coefficients, these 0, so it's only 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 everywhere coefficients. So that is, it's clear for d equal to 1. And then you do it by induction if you like. So there are many several ways to do it. Many people have different ways. So I don't want to dictate my way on you. But in any case, you should know the proof, whichever it is. Correct proof. All right. From this, what does it follow? I am just going to substitute it here and look for the coefficient of t power n. So I substituted, that is this time this. And now I just have to find this. What is this product? And from which, we already know from which stage it is a polynomial. So this is this one. Now just you have to evaluate this product. So you fix nu and then add the power of t so that it is n. And so you will see it is correct, and I don't want to say anything more. So that's all. So it is not difficult. It is easy. It is very easy. So now go on. Now definition is, if A is a graded A-naught algebra of finite type. Now I am not assuming it is standard. A-naught is Artinian and M is a finite graded A module. And PMT is this polynomial. This is a Hilbert polynomial of M. Then what do we put? I am going to put, as I said, dm equal to the degree of PMT. That is D. This D. So that is dm. And we define the degree now. So this is very confusing, but on the other hand, it is very nice also, because this will lead to some geometry, and also it's very important. So degree of M, that I am calling it d factorial times the leading coefficient. That is this one. So here the degree was d minus 1. So remember, d, I called it degree. So this d is d minus 1 of the earlier notation. All right, so that is dm. So this is degree factorial, d, that is d minus 1 factorial times this coefficient. So we have these definitions. And remember, in this definition, I don't have an assumption that, that is also important, but I don't have an assumption that it is a standard algebra. Because I can still, I forget this corollary, I can still go up here and then do the thing. So there is nothing, there is no assumption there that it is a finite, it is a standard one. So this definition perfectly makes sense. Because even here, not even here, in this expression, t equal to 1 is a 0 here. So it might, t 1 minus t is a factor here, factor here. So it might happen that I have cancelled it here. And then this ft will become some other polynomial, and this denominator will become something. But in any case, we know it's a polynomial function, so it is like this. And so this notation is fixed now. Thing to remember is the polynomial, Hilbert polynomial, the degree is the dm, and degree of m means degree factorial times the leading coefficient. That is when m is non-zero. When m is 0, then you have no, it's 0. This is 0 and this is different. All right. So now I want to make some computation. How do we find these guys? As you have seen in the exercises, it is very important to find these numbers. All right. So first, let us see two examples. One is, you take the polynomial ring itself. Now this is a standard graded ring, polynomial ring over a k. A naught is k, and it is now standard graded, and therefore Hilbert function at n is actually will become a polynomial all the time, and that polynomial is, what is that polynomial? That is this one, n plus r minus 1 choose r minus 1. These are the monomials of degree n in r variables. Now again, how do you find this? You know it. So what is the Hilbert series? These are the coefficients and these are powers of t. Nu equal to 0 to infinity. Now what is the Hilbert polynomial? That is this. Now t, I should write t when you write a polynomial. It is t plus r minus 1 choose r minus 1. See, this is the value of that polynomial at n. So what will be the degree of that? R minus 1, because it is t plus r minus 1 choose r minus 1. So the degree is r minus 1. What is the degree? Degree is the top coefficient multiplied by degree factorial. So r minus 1 is the degree here. The top coefficient is 1 by r minus 1 factorial. So the degree of this polynomial ring is 1. I am going to relate this degree to a very geometric term. So that is called the degree of a variety. See, it will open up a lot of geometry with this. But I don't know how far I can go. I cannot go much further, I think. Okay, so this was for polynomial ring, is very easy. What about hypersurface? So suppose f is a non-zero polynomial homogeneous of degree d, then this d is different from the dm or whatever, no? I am running out of letter, that is why some repetition will come. So if you take now Hilbert polynomial of this hypersurface, that will be this. See, this came from some exact sequence, you remember? Some multiplied by that f and so on. Again, it will come in the next pages, but it was like this. If you see that calculation, multiplication by that f will give you graded homomorphism of whatever. So this is the polynomial, Hilbert polynomial for this hypersurface. So this is, what is the degree now? So this is, both are of this individually, these binomials of degree t power r minus 1 with some coefficient and one coefficient here. But then the top degree term of these guys are same, so they will get cancelled, and then you will go to the next one, and next one is the d will come from, so it is this. Again, I will leave it for you to check. This is now, you can go in a 8th standard and check this. So this, the top degree coefficient is now d times r minus 2 factorial. So therefore, what is our notation now? D of this is what? The degree of this polynomial, which is r minus 2. And what is the degree of this hypersurface? That is the coefficient multiplied by degree factorial. Degree is r minus 2. So coefficient is d. So degree of this hypersurface is indeed the degree of that polynomial which defined that hypersurface. All right. So I would again say, don't use short forms. That's why I completely wrote here d of this, degree of this. All right. So these are two very important examples I will use again and again and again and again, repeatedly, for a calculation. All right. Now, this is the proposition. These are like computational rules. Every time I will land up in one of these and use it. So I have stated them very precisely. Again, our notation is A0 is Artinian ring, A is a graded A0 algebra of finite type, may not be standard, and M and N are finite graded A models. Now, I will read one and we will look at the proof of that one first. And then we'll go to second and proof, and third and proof, and so on. So first is what? If I have a graded homomorphism, F from M to N, and surjective, then I am saying D of this M is bigger equal to D of this M. So let us see the proof. Proof is very easy, you see. This is surjective. Therefore, and it's a graded. So when I restrict this F to the homogeneous component of degree N, it will go inside homogeneous component of degree N of N. And it is surjective, therefore this restriction is also surjective. Therefore, now this is surjective A0 module homomorphism, and therefore what is the relation between the lengths? Length of this will be bigger equal to length of this. That's what I've written. But this length is Hn of N, and this is true for all N. Therefore, Hilbert function at N is bigger equal to Hilbert function at N every all N. Therefore, Pm at N will be Pm bigger equal to Pn at N for large N now. I have to say here large N, this is for all N. Because this equality here is only for large N. This equality here is also only for large N. So I choose the maximum of that. So this equality is for large N. And once you have these polynomials, and this bigger equal to this, then obviously the degree of this polynomial has to be bigger equal to degree of this, because the leading coefficient of PM and PN are positive, they will determine this inequality, right? The top degree will dominate the values. That's what that I made a comment earlier. So this degree is bigger. So does it prove that? Yes, that proves that. This degree of PM is equal to DM and degree of PN equal to DA. All right, now second, DM is always smaller or equal to DA. Let us see these proof also. M is a finite module. So as we have been saying all the time, that I can assume it is generated by homogeneous elements. Finitely many. Let's call them x1 to xn. And the degrees of x1 to xn are d1 to dk, respectively. Now look at the map. This one is a shifting. This graded algebra, I have renumbered the gradation. And look at this map. This tuple going to this sum. Makes sense. And this is graded. Why graded? Because the degrees of xi's are di's. Where are the xi's are going? Where is let's say what is the element of, what are the homogeneous component of A minus di at n? That is A suffix n minus d, right? So therefore it's clear that this map is, if you take these some degrees, they will get multiplied by these xi's and they are degree di. So they will get added up. So you will go into the correct. So if you take, for example, it's only one AI non-zero here. It's of degree n.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I don't understand why the map will be graded.
Which map? That is what I am checking.
Yeah.
Because you see, I have changed the here, the renumber the gradation. No. So for example, forget this sum for a moment. Suppose there is only one A non-zero A1. And
Yes.
suppose A1 is of degree n in this. What does that mean? That means this A1 is of degree n minus d, d1,
Yes,
isn't it? What
yes,
is the
yes.
gradation on this? This is shifting by minus d, no? So nth component here is n minus d component of the original one.
Yes.
And when you multiply by this xi, that n minus di times this xi will become degree n.
Okay.
And that happens to everybody. Therefore, this map is a graded map and it is surjective clearly because all these x's are in the image and they generate. Therefore, this map is clearly surjective. Therefore, by 1, what we get is the d of this graded module is bigger equal to d of m. Right? But on the other hand, what is d of this? Let us find out. You see, the direct sum will respect the polynomials. I mean, the P of the direct sum is clearly sum of the polynomials. Is that clear? What I'm saying? See, what is P? That polynomial P is defined by that Hilbert function, no? And Hilbert function, when you take a direct sum of graded modules, the Hilbert function will be the sum. And therefore, this P of them, polynomials, will get added up. So I only have to find what is the polynomial of this component. But that is, by definition, value at n is this suffix n and length of that. So that will be P of n minus di's. All right. So, but all these guys have the same degree, namely degree d of a. the degree of PA. So that is k times this. The polynomial you have added. So therefore, it is k will come. Or there is so many things, so many times, so many values, and then you will get this. All right. So plus the lower degree term. So what did we prove? We proved that this D is. Did I make some mistake? No. Okay. So then you get this equal to dA because the degree is not changing.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, can you say once again what are the degrees of these AIs?
I will tell you. Suppose you have a graded module. I'll tell you it for the module. Suppose you have a graded module and some integer, let's call it M.
Okay.
Then M of minus M.
Yes.
This is also graded module. And what is the gradation here? By definition, nth component of this is n minus mth component of the original one.
Yeah.
So you have shifted by minus m.
Okay.
So this one from the original gradation of A, we have shifted it by minus di.
Yes.
That means nth component of this one is n minus di component of the original link.
Okay.
That is A suffix n minus di.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Very, very simple. Then you are only shifting it. And how much you are shifting it, that inside thing. So again, you please go through it. This is very easy. So that proves that the degree will not change. And the degree will be dA. And therefore, by earlier one, that proves one. This is one inequality, and the other is it's proved here. So therefore, other is proved here. On the other hand, no. So that therefore the degrees are equal. Therefore, we have this proved too. No, what are we proving? Right. So we have proved this, and this we have proved it's equal to dA. You see here, this we have proved this. Therefore, just write here dA. So that proves the assertion too. DEM of a graded module is always bounded by D of the ring. That is how you remember. Now, third, let us read this third first. If X is a homogeneous element and annihilator of X is 0, then DM equal to DA. So let us read the proof of this. So proof. X is a homogeneous element of degree D, let us say. See, homogeneous of degree D. I call it AD now. Here. This is homogeneous. I call the degree to be D. And annihilator is 0. Now I look at this map. A of minus D to M. What is the map? A going to AX. I say this is a graded map because if A is homogeneous of some degree, AX will be homogeneous of which degree? That D will get added to that because this X is a degree D. So nth homogeneous component here will go to nth homogeneous component here. Nth homogeneous component here is of degree n minus D, and therefore when you multiply by X, this is going in Mn. So this is graded, and this map is injective because that annihilator X is 0. This map is injective. Therefore, for sufficiently large n, P of n minus D equal to P, this P of n minus D is same as P of P suffix A minus D at n. You see this again. For large n, you think this is H. So these are equal, and that is now less equal to this because it's injective. Therefore, length will be smaller equal. So it is this. And therefore, the degree of this values are bigger. Therefore, the degree will be also bigger because these are polynomials, polynomial-like functions, no? So for large n, so the degree term determines the inequality. So therefore, degree of this PM is bigger equal to degree PA. Now use 2 to conclude DM equal to DA. So 2 says smaller equal to, and in 3 we have proved less equal to. Here we proved less equal to, this is DM, this is DA. So therefore equality. Shall we go on 4? All right. So the fourth one. Fourth one is here. A is a non-homogeneous, non-zero divisor for the module M, and it is homogeneous of degree D. Then when I want to compute D of mod AM, that will drop by 1 from M, and the degree will get multiplied by the degree of that A, which is D. You see, these are the formulas. That's how one should remember. When you go modern non-zero divisor, the degree DM will drop by 1, and the degree will get multiplied by the degree of that element, homogeneous element. That is how one should memorize. And then that will also give you intuition. And these are not arbitrary, this one. So you will see this is coming from somewhere, and the learning process should be like this. It's impossible to remember the calculation, no? So this is how one should remember. All right, 4. Now, look at the multiplication by A on that M. I want to make it graded. So how can I make it graded? I only have to shift this module. I shifted it to minus D. So when I multiply by A, that get added up and it becomes a graded homomorphism. These are very simple tricks to make graded. And now you take the lengths and then write down. That's it. So, and the co-kernel is M by M. That is also obvious because the image of this map is A times M. So this is obviously an exact sequence of graded modules. So that means that each n it is exact. That means their length will get the alternate added up. So therefore length of Mn will become sum of the lengths of this. And that length of Mn's, they are the coefficients of the Hilbert-Poincare series. So this will give you the relation what? Hilbert-Poincare series of the middle one. When you multiply it by t minus 1 minus t power d, that will be Hilbert-Poincare series of this. Because how did I write this equality immediately? I just look at the coefficient of degree, coefficient of t power n, and then you get this added up, and so therefore this. That's it. But this one we have proved. This one is of this form. That is what we have proved. And therefore, we get this. And now it's only a calculation. Just substitute and find out. So it is this. And remember, wherever I would have used that the corollary, then obviously I would have assumed that this one, then I would have assumed that it is of degree the standard algebra. All right, so that proves 4. So these are like a small machines. How do you calculate? And do it by one at a time and patch it up. That is how the induction process will be there. All right. Now, as I said, main interest is to find the connection of this degree of the Hilbert polynomial, that I called it DM, with the Krull dimension. That is our main interest, because Remember, we wanted to prove rule dimension is finite or not. And if it is finite, how does one compute it? So that is my main interest, to relate this integer dm with the Krull dimension. That is how the next theorem is now. And again, this theorem one can prove more general also. But now here I am assuming the A0 is the field actually. And A is my homogeneous polynomial in the polynomial ring in R variables over the field K. And I want to compute, I want to relate. And now my graded algebra is this, Kx1 to xr mod A. This is my graded algebra. It is clearly standard because polynomial ring has a standard gradation. When it is not said, it is a standard gradation. So therefore it is this. So this is D of this. This is what is this D? You take the Hilbert polynomial and take its degree. That is this D of this. All right. Now I want to prove this theorem. And what will be our tools? You will see our tool is the proposition earlier and the normalization. All right. So we may assume K is infinite. So this is a field K. Now I only wrote here, we may assume K is infinite. What do you do when K is finite? I just make a base change. Remember, when we have a graded algebra with zeroth component as a field, this is true for not necessary field. If you have a graded algebra, zeroth component A0 we call it. Now suppose I tensor this with some other ring C over A0. C is another ring. I think C as a graded ring, only zeroth component is there, all other components are zero. Now what will be the gradation on this tensor product? Now the C will become the zeroth component. And the next homogeneous component, they will become then C tensor Mn over A0 and so on. So the graded ring will be C tensor A, original ring. And then you see the definitions, they will not change because the length is over now C. So they will not change. So both this thing, this D will not change because the polynomial is not changing. Because the Hilbert function is not changing. Therefore, I can, without loss, I can assume K is infinite. All right. Now, what is the use of this infinite? You will realize why did I want this infinite? Now, by Noether normalization lemma, you remember, I can find y1 to yd linear change I made because it's infinite. And you remember that change was also homogeneous because y is where xi minus some constant times xn, xr here. Right? So therefore, I have a homogeneous elements y1 to yd of degree 1 such that this finite algebra, this graded algebra is finite and graded over this. This is now graded ring, standard gradation. Degrees yi are 1. So therefore, this algebra is finite algebra and also graded algebra, graded module. Finite because this is a finite extension, we saw it that time, no? Noether normalization lemma. So this is a finite graded module over this ring. Finite graded module over the polynomial algebra with the standard gradation. Now, what do the proposition say? Where? Proposition where? This proposition. So, which part? I want to use equality. So, it is third. Why? So, I have to also show that the assumptions are satisfied. So, I am talking about this equality, first equality. So, why is equality here? By proposition 3, I should have written is 3. And I need an assumption there. There is a homogeneous element with an annihilator 0. Is there a homogeneous element with an annihilator 0? Which is the homogeneous element with an annihilator 0? Can you tell somebody? One is homogeneous of degree 0 and an annihilator of 1 is 0. Therefore, I can apply proposition 3. And therefore, we have this equality. And the next equality we have already done in an example. The next equality I have noted in the example. You see here, example, you have a polynomial ring, then the D of that polynomial ring is 1 less than the number of variables. So therefore, this equality is by that. All right. But this D, this small d is the dimension of this ring, Ky1 to id. We have checked crude dimension of polynomial ring in d variables is the small d. And this extension is integral. Therefore, their dimensions are same. Therefore, this d minus 1 is a crude dimension of this, that is this d, and minus 1 is as it is. Now, of course, I didn't write so much explanation. Now, anybody has a doubt? So proof became very easy because we are using the earlier results, and that is what will happen. Now, in the next lecture, I will use earlier lectures, and it will keep accumulating. Now, can I go on, or anybody has doubt? Please. Yes. Can I go on? This is very important. So what it says is crude dimension of this finite type algebra over a field is D. So D is the degree of some polynomial, right? Degree of the Hilbert polynomial. It's one more than that. So this minus 1, when you shift it here, you get this equality. So this is, and you have seen computation of this is not so as difficult as computing the crude dimension, because it is a soup of this chains. So this also shows that crude dimension of the finite type algebra over a field is finite, and this is how you can compute. All right, now the next page. That's a now I am going to deduce many corollaries from here. And how will I deduce? This one plus that our computation machine. Computation machine is what? Proposition. There are four statements there, one by one, and inducting. That is how subject computation goes. And many of these computation now there are softwares, algebra softwares. You can compute with those. All right. So one of the sample I have given it here in exercise 4.6b or 4.6a. You see, they're all short exact sequences, and then you have graded maps, and then you compare. That's how it is. Very, very simple. But your basics definition and model example, prototype examples should be very clear. So, corollary. You have an ideal A, which is homogeneous ideal in the polynomial ring in R variables. And suppose that A is generated by F1 to Fk, where Fi's are homogeneous and Fi's are non-zero divisors modulo the ideal generated by the earlier ones. Such a thing is called also sequence, regular sequence. So that is the definition. So what is the condition? F1 is a non-zero divisor. F2 is a non-zero divisor mod F1. F3 is a non-zero divisor mod F ideal generated by F1, F2, and so on. So that is how the assumption is on the ideal. It's homogeneous and it is generated by FIs with that property. Such an ideal is also called homogeneous complete intersection. This is like giving a name. So that is the assumption. Then what do I say? Then the dimension of this quotient ring, quotient algebra, this is finite type algebra over K. The dimension of this ring will drop exactly by K. What is K? K is the number of these FIs. That is K. And the degree is the leading coefficient times the degree factorial of the Hilbert polynomial. That will be the product of these degrees. That is the assumption. And both these are related to Hilbert polynomial, because this is the degree of the Hilbert polynomial and this is related to the leading coefficient. And now what do I say? Apply proposition 6.64 and 6.1. So 6.64, let me see. What does 4 say? 4 say, if you have a homogeneous element and annihilator is 0, then the D doesn't change. D of this doesn't change. But you need an annihilator 0. Right? And that I am going to apply repeatedly. See here, I am going to apply repeatedly. I go mod F1 first. And F1 is there, F2 is still there. F1 is a non-derivative either, first of all. So therefore, annihilator is 0. So when I go mod F1, the things will drop by 1. The D of that will drop by 1. But D of that, we know it is a Krull dimension. So Krull dimension will drop by 1 when you go mod F1. What will happen to the degree? That we saw in that example. This example. So what will be the degree of this hypersurface? Is precisely D, and D was the degree of this homogeneous part. So now, see, it's very simple. When I go mod F1, Krull dimension will drop by 1 because D, the degree of the Hilbert polynomial will drop by 1, and we have proved by theorem that is the degree equal to the dimension. So this, and this degree gets multiplied. So you do it. Now F2, when after first going mod F1 is clear. Now go mod F2. Now F2 is a non-derivative either there. So I can apply 4. So D doesn't change. And that is the Krull dimension. So it will be 1 more or less. And this degree further get multiplied. Again, the same example. So it's like a machine. You do one at a time. But you have to make sure that the assumptions are satisfied. And that is why these are assumptions. Therefore, the proof became very clear. Anybody has a question? Purnashri.
Hello? Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, do you have a question? Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Yeah. So essentially, learn from this. Essentially, your definition should be absolutely clear. Second thing, your example should be clear. And then these proposition. That's all. I am going to use it many times today. Okay, next corollary. It says, if you have a monomial ordering on the polynomial ring in R variables over a field, then I have not written this corollary because I wanted to write monomial ordering. So we will postpone this. This corollary will postpone. Now, the next theorem is explanation for why did I call it degree. All of you may be feeling a little bit, I don't know what, that this is also degree, this is also, I use the term degree. Right? This is a degree of the Hilbert polynomial. And this, what I call it, degree of M, is degree factorial of this Hilbert polynomial times the leading, this AD, times the leading coefficient there. That is this degree. And why do people call this as a degree? Because this has much more geometric content, and or those who will study more, who was that guy, what is his name, from IIT Madras, that geometry. So this is the degree. So degree of a variety, if you have heard the term, or a genus, this is connected to that. That is why this word degree. But this theorem which I want to prove, this one is the degree of the field extension. So that is why this is algebraic explanation, but there is a geometric explanation also. So this theorem is also very interesting. All right, this is a typical example. You will see how people prove complicated stuff simple way, one at a time. Okay, let P be a homogeneous prime ideal in the polynomial ring. Homogeneous. So whenever I said polynomial ring, standard gradation. And let this is a Noether normalization lemma such that the field extension is separable algebraic. Look at this normalization. This is normalization given, and I am assuming that both are domains. A is a domain because A is mod P. This is an integral domain. This is also a domain, and then you go to the quotient field level. That quotient field extension is separable. Algebraic it is always, because this is a finite extension, so it's separable algebraic. Then the degree of this A, remember this A is a graded algebra. So degree in that sense that it is a Hilbert polynomial multiplied by degree factorial to the leading coefficient, and that integer is called the degree. That degree is the degree of this field extension. Another thing which I didn't mention here, but which is clear, that from the context, this x1 to xd, when I say Noether normalization lemma, these x1 to xd are, I assume that they are homogeneous of degree 1. Again, the same way. Here I explained, no, where? Here. Assume k is infinite, and then I can choose them to be linear polynomials. So there also I do the same, because my assertion here, you see, that is not going to change. Therefore, in this explicitly assume that this k is infinite if necessary. And this x1 to xd is a, then this map is a graded. A is a finite graded module over this polynomial. All right. So this side is, I hope you understand this side what it is. This is the degree of the field extension. And this is the degree what we have defined. Okay. Now, as I said, we are assuming the k is infinite without loss, because nothing is going to change. Both sides is not going to change. If I tensor A with the infinite extension of the field k, typically you take one more rational function field over k and tensor it with k, and then replace A by that. All right. So we are, and if you still uncomfortable with this, assume to start with k is infinite. Nothing wrong. And then over, when you get enough acquaintance with this thing, then you will realize that this is okay. Till then you assume it is. See, no harm in assuming some extra assumptions in the proof if you are not comfortable. But think about which are, don't put too many assumptions also. All right, now it's a separable algebraic extension. I want to compute this degree and relate it to this degree. So this is a field extension separable, and you know the primitive element theorem. And primitive element theorem say that there is this extension is simple over, I called it, this L is the quotient field of A, quotient field of this polynomial ring. That is L. So this is L, and this say that QA is algebraic over L and separable. Therefore, by primitive element theorem, this QA is generated by one element. And now, because this K is infinite, I can assume that primitive element is a linear combination of the generators. So the generators here are what? They are already x1 to xd are here, and the next one are xd plus 1 till xr, and their images. That means I have written them by small letters. So this field extension QA is generated over this by small xd plus 1 till small xr, where small xi's are the images of this capital Xi's in the ring A. And therefore, this field is generated by those elements. But the primitive element theorem, because the base field is infinite, I can choose them to be linear, K-linear combination of these guys. That is because the base field is infinite. This is, if you would have learned primitive element theorem correctly, you would have noted this. Doesn't matter even now, you can go back and check whether that is correct or not, but it is correct. So therefore, I can assume this QA is this. Now, if I want to compute this degree, field extension degree, I only have to compute the minimal polynomial of this element, this primitive element over L. I have to compute that, and that the degree of that minimal polynomial is this right hand side. And we have to relate it to the left hand side. All right. We don't have much time. We have to hurry it up. Therefore, I will make a change again and call these elements, this combination as xd plus 1. That will not change thing because I made a change again here, linear change, and then it doesn't matter. It's xd. This element, a new element, I will call it xd plus 1. Then, so only change of variables. Then there exists a homogeneous polynomial in x1 to xd and d plus 1 intersection P, which is monic in xd plus 1 and irreducible. What do? You take this intersection. I know when I plug it in, some polynomial is there in P is non-zero, so there is a polynomial, and then when you go mod it, xd plus 1 is the zero of that, so you just lift it. So since P is homogeneous ideal and this is finite, and therefore the substitution homomorphism will have a kernel, and that kernel, because domain, it is generated by irreducible. So that is not, the kernel will contain a monic polynomial. So that is what it is. All right. So now Gauss lemma says that F is also irreducible. This is homogeneous. So it will go inside that A. The image will go inside A. Therefore, it is a irreducible element. So this Gauss, this is very easy because this polynomial is irreducible. F is irreducible. So when I go over the rational function field, it is still irreducible because this ring, this base ring is a domain, unique factorization domain. This base ring is unique factorization domain, and this is a quotient field of that. So if I have some polynomial or this in one variable which is irreducible, then when I go on to the quotient field here, that will also be irreducible. That is what this Gauss lemma. And therefore, this F has to be the minimal polynomial of the small xd plus 1 over L. This is a minimal polynomial of this. And therefore, the degree of that, xd plus 1 degree of that, is precisely this degree of the field extension. So I computed this side. This is not difficult because we have learned field theory earlier. So far it is nothing. Now I take the discriminant of this polynomial. This is a polynomial in many variables, but I want to take a discriminant with respect to d plus 1. That means discriminant of f with respect to xt plus 1. This is then this will be that variable will get eliminated, and now it will be an element in this polynomial ring. And now I don't know how many of you know the discriminant correctly. The discriminant of a polynomial, suppose you have a base ring B and a polynomial in one variable over B. What is the discriminant? So, of course, you have a domain here. So, you can take a domain. So, discriminant of a polynomial in one variable over a field is what by definition? It's a resultant of f and its derivative. And I don't know again where you know the resultant, but then you might know this definition. If alpha 1 to alpha n are the zeros of f in the algebraic closure of L, then the product, these different elements, product xi alpha I minus alpha j, this product is called a discriminant. But the difficulty here is, by this definition, this is not a definition actually, this should not be a definition, because it's not a priori clear from here that discriminant is a constant. So you would have computed compute the discriminant of quadratic. It will be b squared minus 4ac, right? 4c if you want, if it is monic. But how it is related to the roots is more serious, and it is not clear from here that this is indeed an element in L. But if you take this is the right definition, resultant f and f prime, the resultant of that is some determinant, and determinant with entries in L. Therefore, the determinant will be also in L. So anyway, but this, I don't know which definition you have or not. Okay, so that is the discriminant. So I have taken the discriminant. So look at this diagram now. So B is my this ring, mod that discriminant, mod that polynomial f. This f is a minimal polynomial of xd plus 1. And QB is this quotient field. But QB is same thing as L of xd plus 1, which is our QA. So QA and QB are same, they have the same quotient field. P is this ring, B is the hypersurface. This is very convenient for me because I can compute the degree of the hypersurface. So we have this QA, QB, and this is QA is the algebraic or this quotient field, which is the rational function field, and this is finite separable extension, and this is our normalization lemma, which is integral finite. Right? So from this diagram, what do you get? From this diagram, we get, when I multiply this B by 1 over D, already A is contained there. Oh, what is this equivalent to saying? This is equivalent to saying that delta annihilate this module A by B. A and B. So B is contained in A, therefore A by B makes sense. That means the delta is in the annihilator of this. So now you consider the exact sequence of finite graded kx1 to xd module, that B is this, A is this, and A by B is this. And where now this B is, what is this B? This is a finite and free also kx1 to xd module, and the rank of this free module is the degree of this f. And A by B is kx1 x2 xd mod delta, because the delta annihilates it. So this is a module over that. Therefore, what can you conclude from this exact sequence? First of all, d of this, that is the degree of the Hilbert-Sample polynomial. This will be less equal to the middle one. Why this? Why this? Because 6.62. That is this 2. If you have any module, the d of that will be not more than the d of the ring. So this is a modulo over which ring? This is a modulo over this ring. So therefore, D of that module cannot be more than D of this. And what is D of this? This is now hypersurface. This is example, hypersurface. If you go Hilbert-Samul polynomial, hypersurface in D variables, degree of the Hilbert polynomial will drop by 2 more than D. That is how the definition. No? So this D will drop, and D of the polynomial ring is D minus 1. So this is that example. That is the first observation. The second observation, D of B equal to D of this. And D of this is D minus 1 we have seen. That is also, if you like, by that example. And this is 3, proposition 3. Proposition 6.63. So now here 6.63. Here 3 is this. If I have a homogeneous element whose annihilator is 0, then D doesn't change. So I am using it for what? This one. So so what is an element of? We need an element whose annihilator is 0, no? To apply that. What is that? It's a free module. B is a free module. I have noted. B is a free module. Therefore, an annihilator of a free module is 0, no? So if we take a basis which consists of homogeneous elements, those homogeneous elements will not have any annihilator, 0. Therefore, by that, this will be equality. And this D of the polynomial algebra is D minus 1 by that example again. I didn't write it here. I was tired of writing this. All right. So therefore, I have this information. Therefore, what happens? What happens to the P now? Polynomial, Hilbert-Samul polynomial. Not Samul, Hilbert polynomial. So P of this minus P of this will be equal to P of this. That's what I've written from the above example. Again, the same. This is a graded homomorphism, and therefore nth stage and sum it up, and that will give Hilbert series, Hilbert-Poincare series, and so on. So that will give you this. It follows. Therefore, because of this, now what happens? 1 and 2. So the D of A by B is lesser equal to D minus 2, and D of this B is equal to D minus 1. And therefore, what will happen? So this degree is less equal to D minus 2. This degree is D minus 1. So what is the possibility? PA degree of PA has to be equal to this. If it is not this, if it is more, this will not be equality. If it is less, it will not be equality. If it is, so it has to be equal to, degree has to be equal to this. And not only that, their leading coefficient has to also be equal. Then only it will get cancelled, and then you get a degree smaller. Degree of a polynomial will be smaller. So therefore, we infer dA equal to dB equal to D minus 1. Leading coefficients are equal. What does it prove? It proves, first of all, the leading coefficients are equal and the degrees are equal. Therefore, the degree factorial times the leading coefficient will also be equal. That is, the degrees are equal. These degrees, you remember the definition. And this degree is equal to degree of that polynomial f. That is again example 6.5. That is a hypersurface, no? So that example 6.5. That is this. So that is this. And this one, because this is a minimal polynomial, therefore it is the degree of the field extension. So therefore equality. So that proves the theorem. And now this theorem, there is a lot to learn, there is a lot to recall if you have forgotten. And I suggest you do it. If you don't do this, the problems you will not be able to do. And you have seen it's nothing, it's only tying a jigsaw puzzle. And the main ingredient in this puzzle are those two examples and this proposition and your definitions. And of course, your knowledge of field theory, a primitive element. This one. So that justifies degree of the field extension equal to degree of that algebra or degree of the model. Now this definition. dm is the degree of the Hilbert polynomial, and degree of m equal to degree factorial of the Hilbert polynomial times the leading coefficient of the Hilbert polynomial. Homogeneous ideal, primary decomposition, irredundant, that is also homogeneous primary decomposition. Then I have computed what is the degree of this finite type algebra in terms of these primary components. And it is very easy. It doesn't use anything special. It only uses like earlier. So with this, I will stop. If you have any questions, I will wait 2-3 minutes.